Dear Chairman, I imagine this investigation of our program is providing you with the kind of attention that politicians crave so much. How very predictable. What has surprised me most about mankind during the Great War is not our ability to adapt to the new arenas of conflict, but instead our willingness in victory to so quickly return to the old.
You mean to tell me we've come all this way for this? Your fucking crazy AI Epsilon?
Yes. I thought it was gone. But Delta told you memory was the key. At first I thought he meant to remember our first encounter. And when I met Delta the first time, what I told him was... You were encrypted until you could be recovered.
Recovery carries risk. Destruction ensures that an AI...
It cost a lot of money, okay? It's cheaper to recover you than it is to delete you. When they removed Epsilon from me, he was unraveling, casting off all his thoughts. I was sure they deleted him, but it's
cheaper to store it than it is to delete it, right?
Right.
But why are we looking for this thing? What's the point?
The message specifically said that memory is the key. Delta was telling me that Epsilon was still alive.
And Epsilon is the key?
In a way. At the end of the war, things didn't look good for humans. And there were dozens of projects all trying to come up with the magic bullet to win.
Right?
Project Freelancer was one of them. They had their research with aggressive AI, but they could only get the one, and they needed more to conduct their experiments. So, they got desperate.
Right. They tried to copy it, but they couldn't, so they...
All AI are based on a human mind, and the director had a theory. He thought, if we can't copy it, we'll just have to do the next best thing.
They split it?
Just like a human mind when it's broken. It fragments. It fractures itself to protect itself.
They tortured it.
Like reverse engineering a multiple personality disorder. They presented Alpha with scenario after scenario of stress and danger. When it started to fragment, they harvested those fragments.
The freelancer AIs.
These horrid little fragments of purified, compartmentalized emotion. None of them were a full personality. Some were good.
Like Delta?
Delta was Alpha's logic. It needed to protect itself from analyzing what was happening to it, so it segregated that part of its mind. The part that would be able to understand the horror of what they were doing to it. And when the anger came and threatened to take over, it split that off too. That was Omega, its rage. Gamma was its deceit. Sigma was its creativity. And Epsilon was its memories. And memory is the key.
Ugh, okay. Now I'm bored. Simmons, promise to do me a favor. If the madness sets in, just shoot me.
Do everyone a favor and shoot him now.
Is that an order?
Oh, save your bullets for something worthwhile. Hey, Simmons, get over here. Hustle up.
What's up, sir?
You're good with computers, right?
Well, I'd like to think so. I mean, there's really all different kinds of skill sets. Like, you have your binary computation, you have bus transport.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, here's what I'm thinking. If this is command, and these computers have some of those internets installed on them,
There's just one internet, sir, and I don't think it's located inside this building.
they probably have all the information about everything, right? Like in a spread base or one of them ROM things. Data sheet?
I'm sorry, was that something I was supposed to understand? Was that even English?
Come on, man, you know, like all the mainframes on the reds and the blues. Series of tubes and whatnot.
Okay, you're using a lot of terms that don't really make sense. I think you're asking me if these computers store all the data on red and blue armies?
Control-Alt-Bingo.
Probably.
Could you get into it?
Yeah, if I had some time. What are you thinking, sir?
Simmons, I want you to erase the blues.
What, you mean like the blues from our canyon?
No, Simmons, all of them. Gone. Erased. As in wiped off the map. Kablooey. Terminate process.
Sir, you just blew my mind.
As they continued to torture it, Alpha couldn't keep its sanity and its memories at the same time, so it had to purge them. That fragment became Epsilon, and I was just unlucky enough to have it assigned to me.
So you knew. You knew from the beginning what was going on.
Mostly. They never told anyone what they did here. I got flashes when they put Epsilon in my head, memories of what the director did to it.
So you would say that you have overwhelming feelings of anger and a need for revenge?
More than you know. Just like you're getting now. That's why Epsilon went insane. It was meant to. It was all the horrible experiences that Alpha needed to shed to survive. And that's why it had to be removed from me.
Did they know that you had the memories?
I never said a word. But they had their suspicions. Do you still have yours?
No, Wash. I never had one. I was in the implant group behind you, remember? And after what happened to you, nobody got any more.
I would never let them put another AI in my head. I was afraid I wouldn't be able to hide what I knew from another program, which, ironically, is what led them to think I could be trusted.
Well, what do we do with it?
We take it, and we get it in the hands of someone who can use all its information. Then they can bring down the person responsible for what was done to Alpha, and to me, and to my friends. They can take down the director.
But what about the Meta? How do we stop him? Isn't that the point? I thought only the Alpha could do that. Are we gonna find it or not?
No.
No!
After the first attack on Command, they moved it. They knew the AI would just convince their freelancers to come looking for it again. So they put it in a place where they didn't think anyone could find it.
But where? Shouldn't we be there instead of here?
Church, I need you to listen to me. Delta was the logic. He was able to figure out things before anyone else. It's why he left a message for you in a way that he knew only you could find, and in a way that let me see you getting it.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I know what you are, even if you don't. Why you can seemingly live without a body.
What?
It's why they stuck you in some useless backwater canyon where no one ever goes. Then why they transferred every person in your outpost to a different base than you.
I've been here 14 months.
What? Over a year? By yourself? It's why you always agreed with everything Delta
I
said.
think we should simply be happy it is gone.
That makes sense to me.
Why you didn't feel anything when Omega got inside your head.
Feels pretty much the same. That's kind of weird.
Why you can jump from person to person the way it can. It all adds up then. Omega was the one who inherited that trait. Church, there's no such thing as ghosts. You're one of them. You're an AI. You are the Alpha.